Welcome to Protein for Critical Periods, a podcast exploring the role of nutrition during the most demanding stages of poultry and swine production. In this series, we discuss how feeding strategies, gut health, and protein quality can help animals thrive during critical developmental and transition periods. Protein for Critical Periods is presented by Hamlet Protein. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Hamlet podcast, and welcome to you, Marisabel. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again, Anders.
Today we are talking about piglets, but as you told me a little earlier that you thought that we forgot something to mention last episode, so maybe you would just fill that in. Is that okay?
Absolutely, yes.
It was something about laying hens, I think you mentioned early on.
Yes, it was. And I think we didn't cover enough the critical periods for layers. And we also forgot to cover the inclusion rates of Hamlet Protein in laying hens.
Okay, then give it a go.
Thank you so much. So first, let's define the critical periods for laying hens. And in this case, of course, the starter period in the pullets is very critical as they are newly hatched, they are in the new environment, and they need more protein resources to develop the gastrointestinal tract and their immune system, also the musculoskeletal system. This is very critical during the first weeks. So this is the reason why we also recommend inclusions of Hamlet protein products from the day of hatching, so day 0, up to 3, 4, or even 5 weeks, and that depends on the operation. The inclusion rates that we are recommending during this critical period are, of course, around a minimum 5% inclusion in the diet. And this, in our experience, is gathering better body weights in pullets, as well as better uniformity. So this start of development has consequences in the long term, having healthier birds that also can start laying a little bit before.
Very good. I thought that also maybe that the period where we're going to produce eggs were longer.
Yes, it is. And this is the other critical period that we have identified in laying hens, which is the pre-lay and pre-peak period. We call it pre-lay, pre-peak nutrition. And in this case, because we have a lot of stress factors together, then we do recommend to have a very easy digestible protein, because when stress ensues, the gastrointestinal tract is challenged. And with that, the digestion and absorption of nutrients. In this period, from around week 15 to week 25, the layers need to increase their feed intake very quickly because they need more nutrients. But it is quite often that we do not get this increase in feed intake. However, the nutritional needs are still there. They need to increase around 300 to 400 grams in body weight during a relatively short period. And this is why Hamlet protein products really work very well during this time. Because first, they take away some stress factors like the anti-nutritional factors that are significantly reduced in the diet. And because they also provide protein of a quick digestion and availability to go and make this tissue that the birds are needing.
And it's really good business, I've been told, if you can prolong the period where they produce eggs. Is that correct?
That is correct. So as a result, we get a quicker onset of laying. We get a better peak of production. This is not quite often because the animals in this period, they are genetically made to lay. So they want to lay. But if we have more uniform birds, which is one of the results that we have gotten with the inclusion of Hamlet protein in the diet, then we will get a better peak production and we will get better persistence during the period of laying.
Very good. So we can conclude that also in laying hens, it's very important to feed them some Hamlet protein, especially in the beginning. Is that correct?
Well,
just yes or no?
Yes, it is very important to use highly digestible protein sources in the two beginnings that we have in laying hens. So first, the pullets during the starter phase, and second, the beginning of laying. So,
very good. So this will finalize what you would like to comment from the last episode that we forgot, or you thought we forgot. So now I think we should move on to piglets now.
Your favorite.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get started. So, Marisabel, now we can start to talk about the piglets. And I guess, it's also about getting started in the right way. And a good start makes all the difference. That's actually our motto in Hamlet. So could you explain about the benefits of Hamlet for young animal nutrition, especially in piglets?
Yes, thank you very much for the question. And I think this is the question we all have been waiting for, but not really. Hamlet Protein is widely known for its results in piglets. So it is the clean, fast protein that piglets need. First, weaning is the most critical period in the piglet life, in the pig life, actually. We have many different stress factors at the same time. So at weaning, the piglets are separated from the sow. They are getting a different feed, and they are getting a new environment with other piglets that they don't know. So stressors are very high. By using products like Hamlet Protein, by little changes in the nutrition, we can favor the development of the gastrointestinal tract, because in that period, the gastrointestinal tract of the piglets is also not fully developed. And also, we are taking away 3 stress factors. So in this case, the anti-nutritional factors, such as trypsin inhibitors, beta-conglycinin, and alpha-galactoligosaccharides, which can, the first one, the trypsin inhibitors, hinder protein digestion, and the 2 others, which can challenge the gut development and make the animal more prone to diarrhea.
Yeah, and I will add to this because, this is a little bit my home ground here in Denmark, because we use a lot of Hamlet in Denmark because we produce 30 million piglets every year, and the majority of them get Hamlet protein at a certain point. And that is actually because we cannot feed piglets just with soybean meal.
Oh, no.
And as you were saying, it's because we're removing anti-nutritional factors, and young animals then need something special. So you could say it's like when you mentioned in the last episode about poultry, that it's about pre-digestion of the product. So we actually help the young animal to grow better, to be more resilient, and in order to utilize the full potential.
Absolutely, we are. And something else that we need to consider is that we are also, by including Hamlet Protein in the diet, lowering the amount of undigested protein that will come into the hindgut. And this is also very critical, and this is also very special about Hamlet Protein, because if we consider different protein sources, there are only a few, and I can count them with 2 or 3 fingers, that have a very small quantity of undigested protein, of potential to have undigested protein in relation to the fast protein that they can have. And Hamlet Protein is the best of them.
Yeah, and as you mentioned in the early episode, the same goes for poultry as for piglets here. You can put it like this.
It is. It's young animals. However, I would like to say that when it comes to anti-nutritional factors, piglets have a higher sensibility for beta-conglycinin and alpha-galactoligosaccharides.
Than poultry?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. But it's also important to emphasize that there's a huge difference in the quality of these products. I think maybe you could explain more about that in relation to other soy products.
Oh, yes, this is a very good question. There are different specialty soy proteins in the market. For instance, we have extruded products, which is just a thermic process. We have fermented soy, which is a fermentation that it is quite often uncontrolled because we are relating to live organisms. And we have soy protein concentrates, and quite often they are alcohol extracted, which aggregates the protein, making them less available or less immediately available. Of course, as Hamlet Protein, we are also in this market of soy specialties. we have an enzymatic treatment, which is quite controlled, quite long and continuous, which allows us to just during the process and to deliver to the market consistently a high-quality product. We have, of course, tested other soy specialties for anti-nutritional factors in our laboratory, and we are quite sure that we have the lowest quantity of anti-nutritional factors in relation to other soy specialties in the market. Other tests that we have done is to compare the quantity of fast protein of different soy products, and we are also sure that we have the highest quantity of fast protein in relation to other soy specialties in the market.
And if you should compare, let's say, fast protein or kinetics, which you just mentioned, which products is most similar to Hamlet in connection to that?
Well, you will not be surprised, but it is a plasma.
Yeah. So you can say that normally if you have, let's say, good products, they are also characterized by being fast absorbed. Is that the right conclusion?
That will be the right conclusion. But not only that, we also know that we have the product that has the best relation within fast protein and undigestible protein in the market, which is also one of the reasons why when we have Hamlet Protein products, for instance, HP300, at the right inclusion in piglet diets, we can lower the incidence and the duration of post-weaning diarrhea.
And when you're talking about undigested protein, you're also mentioning indirectly that the digestibility of Hamlet is quite good.
It is.
And it is a topic for discussion. What is the actual digestibility, SID, for different products? But that's another discussion, because we know that many products, they claim very high SID values, but it's made in a laboratory and not on young animals.
Right. There are very few digestibility trials in young animals, and I would say that we are proud in Hamlet Protein to have made those trials in young piglets as well as in young broilers.
And the overall goal is, both for poultry and for pigs, is to fulfill the full potential of the young animals, and especially in relation to also the usage of antibiotics, because that's a topic everywhere, actually. You told me that prior to this meeting.
Yes, antibiotic reduction is a topic that is gaining worldwide importance, and that's basically because of antimicrobial resistance. And every country in the world aims to reduce the use of antibiotic in animal production. And nutrition is one of the pillars that can help to reduce antibiotics. When we have clean, available proteins for animals, they can utilize them immediately to develop their gastrointestinal tract. And I'm talking about young animals here. When the gastrointestinal tract is well developed from the beginning, there are less chances that these animals will get sick in the future. This is our carryover effect.
And that is why our motto is, the right start makes all the difference.
It does.
But Marisabel, you were talking about something that you really needed to tell, and which is so important. So it was about hindgut issues.
Well, yes. I mentioned before that Hamlet Protein products have the best relationship within fast protein and undigested protein. So what happens when we have too much undigested protein in the diet, especially in young animals or in stressed animals? The undigested protein passes to the hindgut where it gets fermented by the bacteria. But this fermentation gathers byproducts that are harmful for the gut lining, and that also favor the proliferation of pathogenic bacteria. So this is how we get dysbiosis, this is how we get diarrhea as well, not only in young animals, but also in stressed animals. And this is why it is so important to consider the protein kinetics when we are talking about diets for critical periods.
So if we have to sum up here, you could say the overall take-home message from this podcast is that we need clean diets, we need clean raw materials, and we need protein sources that has a high absorption rate.
not only a high absorption rate, but an absorption rate in the first part of the gastrointestinal tract. So very early in the proximal jejunum, also in the distal jejunum is okay. But when we get far from there, then the uptake and the utilization of protein can be hindered. And we have higher risk that this protein will not be digested and pass into the hindgut.
Very good. So thank you very much, Marisabel, for showing up in this podcast about piglets and poultry. I really hope that our listeners, they had a lot out of it. And if they have further questions, they can, of course, reach out to you. And how to get in contact with you? How can they do that?
Well, we can go to our website, and in our website, there is a picture of me with my contact details. But there is not only the possibility to contact me, but also to contact our other compañeros all around the world.
Yes, and I can also see that you are showing up in seminars and presentations around the world. So there should be plenty of opportunity to meet you somewhere in the world. So thank you once again for showing up.
Thanks to you, and also thanks for listening to this podcast.
Thank you for listening to Protein for Critical Periods. We hope you enjoyed this episode and gained valuable insights into nutrition, gut health, and animal performance during critical production stages. Protein for Critical Periods was presented by Hamlet Protein. For more information, visit hamletprotein.com. Thanks for listening.